Welcome to the top of the morning show. It is your girl TT from the D. I hope you enjoyed your I'm hoping it was restful, 3-day weekend. Yesterday was Veterans Day, and there was a lot of activity going on, not just free food and giveaways, but even some good entertainment that was out there for people who have served or are currently serving, and that is a blessing. This morning, we're going to switch it up and switch gears. I'm hearing what you're saying, and I want to give you what you want and what you need, what you can appreciate. This morning, we're going to talk about 6 type of relationships and the effect that they can have on your life. Number 1, platonic relationship. This is a close friendship without sex. Okay. So yes, it's very possible to have a platonic relationship with the opposite sex. Absolutely. I have plenty of them. Romantic. Number 2, romantic relationship. This is one that's mixed with feelings of love and an attraction through intimacy, commitment, or unfortunately, infatuation. Because some of y'all think that you love somebody and you're not. You're really just infatuated with them, or the thought of being with her or with him, but you're not really into them like that. Like you don't love them, but you think you do, but you mixed it up. So I should do a show on the difference between intimacy and infatuation. That's something to ponder on. Number 3, codependent relationship. Now, this is an imbalanced relationship where one of the partners typically takes care of the other. Now, would you say that's the stay-at-home spouse, whether that's a male or a female? Or would you say that that's a person that in this relationship, they both provide, but one is doing a majority of the work, making sure that the other one is taken care of? It depends what that looks like for you. We'll break it down a little bit deeper. Number 4, casual relationship. That's that friends with benefits, often involving sex without commitment, right? Homie lover friendship. You know what that is, right? Number 5, going back to number 4, that's like a booty call, open invitation. That is a card you could throw on the table. Okay, let's move on. Number 5, the open relationship. That's just for the non-committed people. That's that consensual, non-monogamous relationship where both partners sleep with other people. I'm good on that one. I'm so good on that one. Okay? I'm good on that one. Not only because I'm married, but even if I wasn't married, I don't want to do that one. Okay? And the last one, which is the worst relationship, number 6, a toxic one. That's that unhealthy relationship that harms you emotionally, physically, psychological. And unfortunately, in some cases, it can lead to a person taking someone's life or even worse. Okay, what could be worse than somebody taking somebody's life? Torturing them, torturing their family, just doing the crazy stuff. That's the most crazy. And I think a lot of the times people can say, well, dang, we didn't even see that coming, or we didn't. Yeah, a lot of times we don't, because a lot of people are afraid to let you know, like, shit ain't as sweet as we think it is, right? Because we so worried about what people think about us that we live in make believe, so much so that we start to believe it ourselves, right? But at the end of the day, who does it really matter to, right? You see, a relationship between two people is between two people, but we put it in the atmosphere through social media or just sharing experiences, good or not. And now others outside of the two people can view it as a negative relationship or positive. But on the other side of that coin, you could only be sharing just the positive. And they would just say, I never would have imagined, I never saw that coming. Because we don't show all the ignorant shit. We don't show all the things that'll make you like, man, I leave her, or man, I leave him. We don't show that. Because sometimes we just want to be in a relationship. Some women, some of y'all, you'll take any kind of man. And some men, some of y'all will take any kind of woman. And have the nerve to have an attitude or feel some kind of way. But you know what it was and what it is off rip. Okay? Now, I will say this. Out of those relationships I just said, they can fall into family relationships. They can intertwine with those. The friendships, the acquaintanceships, the romantic relationships, the sexual relationships, the work relationships, they can overlap because we intermingle with people on a daily basis. Now, I will say this, a platonic relationship is a type of friendship that involves an intimate bond without sex, though, because there's a closeness. There's definitely a fondness. There's a level of understanding, definitely respect. You care about what's good for that person. You support them. You are very open and transparent, and you accept them for who they are. I have plenty of those relationships with the opposite sex and the same sex. I love people, right? And some people feel like it could be good, some feel like it can't. And I think the ones that worry about it is the ones that's not secure in their own thing because you're not providing something that maybe that platonic friend is. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Now, when we think about the casual relationship, I'm skipping ahead. Some of these you don't need broken down. But that casual one, that's that homie loving friend one, right? That always involves sex with no expectations or commitment. And you that famous tagline, you know what it was. You knew what it was. What? Yeah. And they fall in the line of one night stands, booty calls. People, I've even heard people say sex buddies. I'm like, all right, we just making up shit at this point, but it's real. But that famous one is friends with benefits. And those are never, never fulfilling for a moment, but they don't take you anywhere further. They don't lead to anything else. And if you did try to get in a relationship with that person that's a homie loving friend booty call, it probably just end up being an open relationship that gives you more access to more people. Right? And then you talk about STDs and unwanted pregnancies and just all kind of shit going on. Dysfunctionalism that can lead to toxicness. Now, let's jump and scurry down to the toxic relationship because in real life, in real time, we know at least one person that's in a toxic relationship, whether it's emotional abuse, physical abuse, psychological, or mental. We know at least one person that's in that kind of relationship, or we suspect it. At least one, right? And the person or the people that's in those relationships often stay in them because they're ashamed. They don't want to be judged. Like I said earlier, they're already humiliated, misunderstood, disrespected by that person that they're with. And they don't want their family, their friends, their coworkers, their classmates to know anything about it. And it's not just adults. Let me be clear. I remember attending the funeral of a 17-year-old who was abusive to his girlfriend. And she got sick of him being abusive. And they were in high school. And she ended up stabbing him after he had beat on her. And she unfortunately killed him. This is real talk. This is not make believe. This is real talk. And what I found out later on, because these were former students at one of the schools I worked at the time, what was sad is that both parents knew that they were in this relationship. And they brushed it off as, oh, that's just teenage love. They'll get over it. They'll learn how to work through it. I have sons. I have a 22-year-old and I have a 14, soon to be 15-year-old. At no point, at any time, should my sons be putting their hands on somebody's daughter. If you can't deal with her, she too much, let her go. Let her go. And on the same token, I did not raise, and I am not raising my teenager or raised my older son to let a woman or girl, because women don't do that, girls do that, like boys do that, men don't do that, boys do. So I've never raised them to think that it's okay for a woman, a girl, to put their hands on them. And that's a no, too. So if you're the mother of a young lady, a girl that will eventually, hopefully, become a woman, teach your daughter to keep her hands to herself like we teach our sons to keep their hands to themselves. If he's too much for her, tell her let him go. Now, signs of toxic relationships, or that the types of relationships, you can have it. Um, you got the competitiveness, they competing against each other, the controlling behavior, the disrespect to each other, the dishonesty to one another, definitely the damn gaslighting, the hostility, the jealousy, the passive aggressive behavior, the lack of and poor ass communication, the stress of being in that shit, lack of support. These are key roles. These are just simple examples of characteristics of a person that is in this type of relationship. Okay? Now, I will say this on my closing. Toxic relationships can be stressful, very harmful, very abusive, and dangerous. If you are in a toxic relationship with someone in your life right now, work on creating strong boundaries to protect yourself. Talk to someone. Maybe you can't talk to your family. Maybe you can't talk to your friends. You could call the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-799-7233. You get confidential assistance from trained men and women who are there to help you navigate through it. I wish they had it where you didn't have to have insurance in order to see a counselor, because unfortunately, some people just need someone to talk to, but they don't have insurance. I hope that this show was an eye-opener. I hope that you could look at it and say, oh, I've been in one or two of those relationships. I hope that you are in a loving relationship right now if you are in one. I hope that you know that you are amazing and you deserve happiness and peace if you're not getting that. And if you are that monster, you too also deserve that. And if he or she is not giving that to you, don't rob them of their joy because you don't have your peace with them. Let them go. They're not property. They're not to be hurt and hindered by you. And you shouldn't hurt and hinder yourself. You should want someone to love on and love you back. And it should all end with peace and love. Again, if you are in a domestic-filled, unhealthy relationship, work on your boundaries, creating an exit plan to safely leave. You can start out by calling 1-800-799-7233. That's the National Domestic Violence Hotline number. Until the next time we leave footprints across the sun, it is your girl TT from the D, and I'll see you soon.